Welcome back to season 5 of the Pitch Pod, everyone. I'm Jeff Stebbins. Join with me, as always, my co-host Joe Janner. Joe, how you doing?
Jeff, I'm doing well. Excited to be back on the Pitch Pod season 5. Here we are.
Right? Can
How
you
are you
believe it?
doing? No, I can't really. I mean, I'm struggling to put it all together how time flies so fast. But what do they say? As much fun as you're having, right?
That's right. That's right. Yeah, no, it's been good. Joe and I took a little break. Here we are back at it, and it's match day 3 of the Premier League. This is it, Joe. We got number 5 versus number 6. And before we dive into the game, I just want to kind of take a brief pause and look at the standings. Joe, it's been a while since we've been on the pod, but has that much really changed when I see Man City at the top of the table? Holland just scoring goals. He's on a tear. And wouldn't you know it, Arsenal's not too far behind. Is this a repeat? What's going on, Joe?
I mean, you didn't say deja vu, did you? But I mean, it's all but in the sense that, yes, I mean, you said the Pitch Pod took a break. Here we are picking right back up and reading right off the same script. Manchester City up top. You said it. Holland scoring goals, had a hat trick in a previous match. Arsenal's playing well, doing all they need to do to get the results there. But yes, just still playing second fiddle, if you will. And like you said, here we are. But we have an exciting match to talk about. Newcastle versus Spurs. We can get into that, right?
Oh, absolutely. And both of these clubs are really solid and had great seasons last year. I mean, Tottenham finished in 5th place last season, which is great. They're currently sitting in 5th place, which is great. I'm sure they'd like to move up the table, if not, get into the top 3 maybe. That would be huge for them. But they had a really successful season. The Magpies, they did as well last season, but they're looking ahead. They're looking to do better, finish top 5, hopefully this season for them. And they're capable of it with players like Gordon, and they're well coached. So, I mean, looking at this team, Joe, what are some strengths that you think Newcastle has?
Well, I think going into this match, I mean, they're always going to be favorites at home. So, again, unbeaten, win, a draw, have played well for the most part. Here they are setting themselves up to end match day 3 to be in a spot to also get a result. I think that they got to be favored to win in this one. But as you say, Spurs will show up to provide a challenge, and it won't be just a walk in the park. They're going to have to play well. They're going to have to perform. Players are going to have to win the opportunity to finish and score goals to win. That's the name of the game, right?
That's right. And it should be noted that the Magpies are coming off of a victory as of late that went into PKs, and they're probably a little bit fatigued as well. It's noted from their EFL matchup recently, but they'll be ready. They'll be ready to go. That's for sure. And I agree. They'll be up for it. And the game's at St. James Park. Pretty good conditions for them, I'd say. And then looking at their opponent, Joe, can you kind of break down the Spurs for us?
I mean, you know how they're going to approach the game. It's been, in some sense, whether they're with one manager or another, kind of approached the same way over the last several seasons. But I think you have to also note that they also continue to have a formidable player on their side, Son, that is going to be a threat continuously and in this upcoming match as well.
Yeah, Son's one of those players where he's dynamic, and he's not only a scoring threat, but he's fine just being the facilitator and making things happen that way too. So, I mean, can that guy be stopped, or is it just limiting Son? Is that the goal?
I think it's on him to do what he can do to be a dynamic player, and he'll do what he needs to do given those players around him to facilitate. And like you said, on the reciprocal of that, him being able to facilitate for others. So It's not going to be a situation where they're looking to limit one particular player. I think what I'm most excited about this match is it's two teams, two sides that approach it just a little bit differently, but they always, I think, bring the highest level of intensity. And I think in this match, you're going to see that. So that's one of the reasons I'm looking forward to it. And it does also obviously lend itself to being a match that both would like to win. And early on in the season, you can say, well, a result would be fine for Spurs traveling at St. James Park, but I think they're going to play to win. And I think that's what we're going to see in this match.
Yeah. And of course, the end of the season is what most people have emphasis on. But, I think you don't want to undervalue these early matches with Arsenal last season. Some of those early matches, if they just went this way or that way, or an extra goal here, an extra goal there, it could have meant all the difference for them. So, I don't think we want to just dismiss this as a match day 3 game. I think there is a lot of value in it. And like you said, we have some amazing players that are going to be on the pitch to come that day, right? But whether it's Gordon or it's Son, there's a lot of dynamic players that can do some amazing things out there. So it should be a really fun match to watch. And I guess, Joe, I mean, it is match day 3, but looking ahead, do you think that these teams, we know Tottenham can finish top 5, right? They did last season. But do you think these teams have a chance to even finish the season better than top 5?
Both have squads and are built in such a way, like you said, though, now results matter even early on. And that's why I believe that, again, they're going into this to get the win. They're both playing. They know how important all of these results are early on. You made a good point. This is the reason we look at this league and get excited. It's the most competitive league in the world. And each and every match and each and every performance that each squad has to be a part of is going to be looked at and scrutinized, and individual players and coaches, how they manage the game. Every bit is going to be under the microscope this early on, even because, as you said, as you alluded to, squads, teams, clubs have faltered late because of maybe potential performances and results that didn't go the way early. So that's why we're excited about this match. That's why I'm excited to see how this turns out. I mean, I think I got an idea how it's going to go. I think I may be ready for my prediction. I didn't know if you wanted to address anything else.
No, I think I just want to emphasize, I think this is the one to tune in this week. They're currently at 38% likelihood each side taking this as a victory. That's what people are saying thus far. So I think out of all the games, there's some great games to look at, but I think this is the one to tune in for. And I know our buddy from Kansas City, Andy Yules, I know he's a big Tottenham supporter, so I'm sure he'll be tuning in to watch the Spurs and cheer them on. But I haven't seen his pick. I'm sure on NBC, this is the game they're covering as well, so that'll be interesting to see if he ends up going with his team or not. But I think I'm ready for my prediction, Joe. Why don't traditionally you lead off? Why don't we keep that tradition going?
I am fine with that. I've all but said it. Now, you mentioned the statistics. You mentioned the percentage of those that are looking at this thinking that it could go either way almost. But no, Newcastle United at home win this. And you have players that can score, I think, a goal, 2. they're going to win this 3-1. Newcastle wins this 3-1.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Early on, I have that feeling.
If you're a Magpie fan, that's great news. If Joe's leaning that heavy towards Newcastle winning, that is significant and not something to overlook. Wow, 3-1. So not even a 2-1 or anything. It's 3-1. Decisive victory is what Joe's going for.
That's what I got.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I look at it a little differently, Joe, as we do on the Pitch Pod, right? We don't always agree, but I do agree on the sense that I do think it'll be relatively close. This isn't a Holland scoring 4 goals matchup and just blowing the opponent out of the water. This is going to be a quality match from start to finish. It has to be, right? That's why both of these teams are looked at currently right now as the 5th and 6th team in the league. and 38% likelihood for both of these teams winning this game. So I think it's going to be close. How close? Maybe the winning team wins by just one goal as opposed to two, like you said. And maybe Son happens to play best at the beginning of the season before the fatigue hits him. Maybe this is his time to shine. He's got some momentum going, Joe, and he decides to run with that momentum. So I understand where you're coming from. I do think the home pitch advantage is huge, but I think right now we're seeing the sun show, and I think it's going to continue until midseason when the fatigue hits in. So I'm going with Tottenham, the Spurs. Andy's going to be happy to hear this. I have the Spurs winning this game 2-1, Joe.
Wow, it would be a big result for them, and to again early on in the
Huge.
season to go on the road, beat Newcastle, get the 3 points, and project themselves higher to the table. Either way, it'll be a good match. I think we've said that. I know it. I'll be tuning in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it's good to be back here with you, Joe. It's good to be back with everyone tuning in. Thank you so much for supporting us, and hopefully you like and subscribe to our content. Keep pitching out there, everyone.